Morning. Why can I not hear game audio anymore? Did it stop? No, the music just stopped for whatever reason. Like, it's weird. Good morning. Nothing fancy to say. I just am going to play more 14 today. Finished Lies of P yesterday and I haven't started another side game yet. I'm probably gonna start Undertale Yellow, but not today. And I might have to take some weird BRBs at points because my friend who lives with me is moving out and I might need to help him carry some stuff. I dare say you're wondering what could possibly be worse than dragons, eh? Well, I'll tell you, the bloody Knaf. They're what you might get if you crossed an antling with a megalocrab and taught the thing how to walk on two legs. Oh, hey, Moonraker. How's it going? They never used to stray far from their hives out of fear of dragons, but they've gotten a lot more aggressive of late, sending out war parties for moms in all directions. They've even taken to harassing the Dravinians in their own lairs, if you can believe it. And they venture into the forest, which is more and more, by the way. They certainly ain't afraid to come after my lot. I can only imagine how much worse it'd be if, closer to Nat's home territory. Okay. So, like, I love when it's like, the mission is like, talk to person who's in the same room. It would seem that much has changed in Dravinia. The Knaf were not wont to cause strife when I lived here. You lived here? In Dravinia? Aye, 'twas in the time following the calamity. My family was dead, my home was gone, and I had fled from the bitter cold into these lands. I knew not the paths of the forest, and then wandered out from under the protection of the bows. When we chanced upon Fralzilger, he had descended from his mountain lair to hunt for food. Excuse me. My exhausted mind could not contend with the sight of the majestic worm, nor the vision of the pest his presence visited upon me. Thankfully, Marchant found my unconscious form at the edge of the trees and nursed me back to health, and in Tailfeather I remained for some time. Hence your familiarity with the locals, but I interrupted you. You were saying these Knaf were once peaceful people? Peaceful would not be the most fitting description. They are a fiercely territorial tribe, and any who intrude upon their domain are attacked without hesitation or quarter. Outside the borders of their homeland, however, they were rarely hostile. Indeed, we were even able to trade with them on occasion. This fantasy is final. Bad news, it's not final, they're still making it, and there's 2 more of them after it. They're expanding the game again. Morning, Ethan. They changed then. What of it? We've not the time to creep through the underbrush or some roundabout route. See, we make straight for Som, Al, and crush any unruly insect we meet underfoot. Also, I don't remember if I got back to you or not about Evangelion. Did I message you about that again, or did I blow you off? I meant to respond to you. I feel like Justin was talking about meeting up. I don't know if you want that to be the same day we watch Evangelion, because I don't know if anyone wants to, like, watch that with us. Maybe, like, Saturday? I think I'm free this weekend. Kristen wants to watch the rebuilds, because she still hasn't seen 4, but I don't know about who else is into Eva. More direct path then. Very well, let us follow the trail west out of the forest and make for the statue of the Stained One. From there we should have a fair view of the road that leads to Som Al. Oh, and I finished Lies of P yesterday. I really do think you'd like it, actually. The problem you have with, like, the puppet-type creatures, that's honestly mostly just early game enemies and, like, some of the easier bosses. I think you should play it. Going up there now. Hey Faye, how's it going? I can't fly. It's so weird just not to actually have to explore the environment and not be able to fly over the terrain. No fly. I even got like a vehicle with wings. that's like powered by magic, and it still can't fly right now. It could fly over there, but we crossed like an invisible line on the ground, so now it can't fly anymore. And Ethan, this is like a small spoiler for Lies of P, like not really, but it did the most ridiculous thing where it teased like a grimdark Wizard of Oz Souls-like at the end of the game, like in a post-credit sequence, which was maybe the funniest thing it had done the entire time. They're like, we have to call her Dorothy, and then it like cuts to like someone wearing red ruby slippers. Yeah, make the pog face when you see the Cowardly Lion. I clapped when I saw the Tin Man. Do you think they'll give the Scarecrow a gun again like he has in the movie? No, yeah. He keeps tabbing to random things that aren't what I want. What's so confusing, Faye? Weak to fire. When the fuck did the Scarecrow have a gun? Hold on a second, I'll show you. Scarecrow with a gun is like a classic Nick fact. No one believes it until I show them the picture. Okay, 1 second. Why did it disappear? This keeps happening. Oh, I know why. Hold on. Do that, and then that. See? It's when they're... After they've talked to the wizard... After they've talked to the wizard, and they're on the way to the Wicked Witch's castle, the Wicked Witch's castle, like for whatever reason, the Scarecrow is strapped. He has a very small little gun, and like when the flying monkeys attack them, he like starts to shoot at them. But that's like it's like the only scene that it's in, and no one addresses it in the dialogue. Just another. Do you think in the what are they gonna call it? Lies of D for Dorothy? No, it's gonna be the Wizard of O. It's gonna be the Wizard of O. They're gonna have like the Munchkin hanging itself in the background, and that's gonna be like a boss. Oh my god, we're gonna get to fight the Lollipop Guild. We're gonna get to fight the Lollipop Guild. Yeah, it's not a musket. He's got like a little. He's got like a little pistol. He's got a little pea shooter. The Fruit of the Loom cornucopia. That's the one that really gets me, because I swear that thing existed. I remember it, and everyone else does too. You know, you can take Nelson Mandela or whatever. You can like have the Berenstain Bears, whatever. None of that affects me. But the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia is what gets me. It was there. Yeah. Nah, don't worry. That Scarecrow's strapped. He's safe. He's protecting the Cowardly Lion. I bet the Tin Man's gonna transform. Like, you ever seen Space Patrol Lulico? He's gonna do like Judgment Gun morphing and just turn into a giant gun. He's gonna turn into a cannon. Oh, and Ethan, if you lie enough in the game, the portrait on the wall, the nose grows longer, right? If you lie enough, the nose gets so long that it turns into like a golden, like, blunt object, and it's the strongest special weapon in the game. Apparently you can get it earlier if you, like, really optimize it, but I found it, like, right before the final boss fight. Destination. I went Dex just because so there's like a system, right, where you can switch up the handles and the blades of the weapons in the game. I liked the default sword blade, so I kept that, but I switched out the handle because that changes the special attack. But the blade was scaling off of Dex, so I was going with Dex. Also, for some reason in the game, Strength is called Motivity and Dex is called, Technique, I think. They've got different words for them, but it's basically Strength and Dex. Should we chance to meet Marchand again, remind me to thank him. Had he not warned us to expect the Nath, I doubt I would be standing here. Amid ruins that I would tentatively describe as Ishgardian, but if not quite identical, betrays a definite resemblance. Yeah, that was a little hard to wrap my head around. You've a scholar's eye, Master Alphino. The structure is, in fact, over 1,000 years old. It is a remnant of the age when our ancestors and dragonkind lived together in peace. When this is evidence of our harmonious past, I was taught that these buildings were constructed by heretics in honor of your Dravinian masters. The rubble inspires no such awe in me. Estinian has no respect for culture. Stubborn fool, how desperately you cling to the false teachings of your beloved Holy See. Enough, both of you. You threaten the success of our mission with this incessant squabbling. Ryugo, pray reason with these two. Grunt. Gods above, even Ryugo's lost patience with you. We have a common goal, lest you forget, to prevent a war which will claim countless lives on both sides. If we are to accomplish this, you must learn to tolerate each other's presence. Get along, kids. Trust in Ryugo's gift, and time the secrets of history will be brought to light. Let that be enough, Estinian. You would have me keep my counsel until Ryugo's visions confirm the truth? Very well, but bait me not. Our meeting with Frau Zelger will likely provide the catalyst Ryugo's gift requires, as it did mine. Let us press on. The Shrine Towers. Spy you, the three great powers of the west. Ishgardians know them as Onks and Trine. The place serves as a roost for Trosvelger's lesser kindred. If we are to reach the peak of Samal, then we must first besiege these dragons to open the way. Do not be disheartened, the one who leads them is a friend. Rather, more concern is the disposition of the Nath. Let us survey the approach to the towers and see if the path is clear. I feel like my sibilance, why do they make it so the word makes the effect happen? I feel like my sibilance is acting up more today than normal, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm parched. Maybe I need water. Do I have my chapstick in here? I gotta have chapstick somewhere. But yeah, Ethan, I have a physical copy for PS5, so if you don't want to buy it, you can just borrow it. True gamers drank G Fuel exclusively. I actually do have G Fuel downstairs. I think Kristen bought it on a whim because they had like a sale and it was funny. It's like the Sonic flavored one. It tastes like Sonic. I think what I've learned though is that G Fuel is literally just pre-workout. What is this pustule that's emanating gas? Pustule is part of the environment. Persona 3 reload. How long does Persona 3 take to beat? Is it nearly as long as Persona 5? And does reload change the length of the game at all? I've heard it adds a lot of quality of life stuff, like it makes it easier to go through the central dungeon. I thought the water sprite was an Aether Current for a second. What did I do? Bring out your dead. I can now... Oh, I gotta do these, Black Mage quests, don't I? Is it like a 20-hour RPG or like a 200-hour RPG? It is as I feared, the road ahead is teeming with Na'v soldiers. Marchand did not exaggerate then. These beastmen have grown brazen indeed if they would threaten the dragon so openly. Do they intend to assault the lair itself? I pray they do not. Mighty though my Dravinian friends are, they are yet vulnerable to Na'v's muskets. There is no route save the one before us. Should the beastmen offer battle, we have no choice but to accept. 60 to 70 is your guess. Well, that's already like a third of what I put into the first fifth of this game, so that can work. I keep using thunder on these these little mooks when I don't need to. I don't know why. I guess just habit. Fire drone. I want to get a good look at this guy. What do they look like? Oh, they're cool. They're like horseshoe crabs. I played Fall Guys briefly. I don't remember the rhinoceros being in the game. Did they make this rhinoceros up so that they could have like a mount in this game? Or is it just like a lot of stuff happened in Fall Guys after I left? Take no pleasure in killing the Na'v. It was to avoid bloodshed that I agreed to join you on this journey. Well, it cannot be helped. We may proceed into the courtyard together, but leave the task of hailing its occupants to me. And keep your lance on your back, Dragoon. My word to the Warrior of Light, I shall start no fight, only finish it. You truly are beyond salvation. Come then. You sail. You were arguing with someone about Elon? That's a very specific thing to do at like 9:30 a.m. Vidofner? Where are you that you would be doing that? Is it on Discord? Oh, Discord, yeah.
"'Tis thee, little one. From above I did mistake thee for a nath. 'Tis well I chanced to look again, or thou wouldst now be ash."
Dear Vidofnir, how I have missed you. Would that I had come sooner, and not out of dire necessity.
"Thou art troubled. Speak that I might know thy plight."
Explains.
"Thou wouldst have father admonish his brood brother."
Brood brother.
I would end this war without further bloodshed.
"How am I to believe thee, little one, when thine own companion beareth Nidhogg's stolen eye?"
Have care, dragon, or I shall gouge out one of yours.
He's not very diplomatic, is he?
You forget yourself, sir. We are here on a mission of peace.
Maybe it was a bad idea to bring along the Dragon Slayer on a diplomatic mission.
Forbiddeth me from inviting discord to our home. 'Tis for this reason and no other that thou still drawest breath, knight.
Vidofnir, please. We must be allowed to convey our intentions to Hraesvelgar in person, with words of our own choosing. Grant us this favor, and open the way to Som Al.
Som Al. I'm glad that is as easy to pronounce as I thought it was.
Thou hast ever been welcome, little one. But I cannot grant thy wish. I am bound to remain here, and protect my kin from the Nath's god.
Nath's god.
The Nath have summoned a primal.
Pray excuse my forwardness, but if we were to eliminate the threat to your territory, would you consent to Lady Izel's request?
Ha! Dost thou imagine thyself equal to the task? To succeed where dragons have failed?
It's kind of tasteless, isn't it? Like, he's a Dragon Slayer. He's not going to be an asset in a diplomatic situation with dragons. His role and purpose is to destroy them. He should be involved, but he should, like, hang back and not be with the welcoming party. Like, in case things go south, he's, like, in the rear.
Beyond thee, mortal. But thou art welcome to try, nonetheless. Only know that idle promises shall avail thee naught.
I guess that could be seen as duplicitous, though, if they're found out.
It would seem we have no choice but to make good on Alphino's offer. Why must our every bid for peace breed yet more war?
I'm gonna eat a food item. I'm gonna have an orange juice. It's morning. Nice. it makes sense if you're going to meet with dragons, better have someone who can actually intimidate them somewhat. I mean, it depends on your approach. It's good to have someone that can, you know, wield sort of a threat over them, but maybe either tell them to be quiet or, bring someone who's maybe a little bit better at, not saying threatening things every 5 seconds. So the Naf has summoned their god, and thus is the mystery of their newfound belligerence laid to rest. Are you not glad, Lady Iceheart? I thought you would applaud them for summoning a primal to further their own ends. After all, you did. I did not reach out to Saint Shifa to further mine own ends. I desired her strength only to forge anew the peace between man and dragon. But what a fool am I to speak peace to you, a bloodthirsty savage who murders without thought or compunction. They just can't get along. Enough, I say. If the Naf have truly brought forth their deity from the Aether, we must face it together, or watch our hopes fall apart. All now rest upon the Primal's defeat. But ere we think of confronting it, we must first study its origin. What is the nature of this god? What manner of fate sustains its existence? My apologies, you were right, of course. Let us return to Tailfeather and consult with Marshal. He knows more of the Naf and their culture than most. But wait, big crystal for me to touch. I can attune to this. This is one of the first ones I've seen that's like, it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's not like in a civilization. I guess the dragons like live around here, but you know, they don't have a settlement right here, per se. I don't think you should negotiate with big smelly dragons. Why do you know they're stinky? How do you know that they're stinky? I wonder if they're gonna change the, like, disgusting foot-sniffing dialogue in the Paper Mario re-release. I wonder if they're gonna remove that. Oh ho, back already, are we? Met with the Naf, did you? And what is it you'd like to... Summon a primal, you say? The hells, I don't know bugger all about the Naf religion. Beyond their trading habits, there never seemed much point in asking. I don't see in dragon shout. Please don't invoke dragon potties around here. Please never say that again. It shouldn't be that hard to find out. From time to time we barter with a small hive to the north and west out of here, outcast from the main tribe. From what I understand, I reckon they'll be willing to tell you about themselves if you give them the right incentives. That's promising. What exactly would a Naf consider to be the right incentives? Oh, nothing your average hunter couldn't scrounge up in a day or two. Seeing as you're in a hurry, you might want to divide the chores amongst yourselves. You want a good-sized jar of landtrap nectar, a basket of killim tree fruit, and always a Naf favorite, a generous portion of young Nanka flesh. I shall gather the fruit. Leaping to the lower branches of these forest giants should present little challenge to me. It's very funny that he, volunteered to go gathering fruit and not the part about, like, slaying things. But maybe he actually doesn't like to kill unless it's a dragon. I shall collect the nectar with Master Alphino's arcane assistance. That leaves you to bring him the meat. You'll need to carve it from the smeller Nankas to live in the rivers. 3 big hunks should be enough, I reckon. Once you've gotten everything together, you'll need to sit it down at what we call the trading post. I'll mark the spot on your map. You've been most kind, Master Marchant. Well then, let us attend to our respective tasks, reconvene at the trading post. The last one there is a rotten Nanka egg. Hey, you there? I got a question. So my character is Ara, right? I got a little bit of flavor when I was in the character creator, but that was over 100 hours ago now. So I don't remember. And they haven't been explored much in the story yet. The Ara are dragon people, right? does that not, like, cause any friction in this specific diplomatic situation? Are Ara, like, totally disconnected from the Ishgardian and Dravinian dragons? Can I get down there? No one's mentioned it so far. You go that way. How to consolidate this information? Yeah, sorry if that's a really big question, but it's kind of been bothering me a little bit. Because I'm kind of surprised that, like, I know they keep it neutral, like, kind of race neutral for the point of the story, but I'm surprised that, like, regardless of that, that my character is kind of welcome into the Holy See and all that. It can have, like, a palpable audience. And I think the only other one I've seen is, I forget her name, but the ninja immigrant girl who helped us, with Raban. Nanka. The Ara are not considered dragon more than they are considered human. The Ara lineage does date back to being born of a very powerful dragon, but this war has nothing to do with that specific dragon. Okay, so they're the ancestors of a specific dragon who is not part of this group. Like, they kind of generalize against the dragons here, but only because their beef is with the dragons that are here. Their beef isn't with all dragons ever. Their beef is just with Velgar's fam. Okay. Which is, like, the majority of powerful dragons in the area. That's like the ones on this continent, right? In Eorzea? Because I understand the Ara typically come from a country that's like across the water, right? It's like a different clan of dragon. Okay, thank you. What expansion will I find out more about the Ara, and when does that get explored more? I was able to gather a goodly amount of nectar from the land traps, though I would not have known how to harvest it without Yasile's help. Do you have the Nanka meat? You bloody Nanka. Splendid, I shall put this with Estinian's fruit and assemble a suitably generous-looking hamper for the Naf. Stormblood for the black scales and Walker for the white scales. Okay. Kind of interesting that they're like a race you get out of the gate in A Realm Reborn. if they're not explored until that much later and come from a totally different continent. Well, everything appears to be in order. Assuming no one has any objections to my twisted presentation, I shall place our offerings at the trading post as instructed. Were I of the Nafi, would be suitably impressed. You could not play as Ara in base game, they were added later. So are there races that are added later that they retroactively make available in A Realm Reborn, and there's races that are added later that they don't? Or is it because, like, when I got this, it came with, like, the first couple of expansions, so they were, all the ones included in those were unlocked? How long must we wait? Should we have sounded a signal or some such? Calm yourself, Master Alpha. No, our offering has not gone unnoticed. Look at how they walk. These guys are so cool. I love these guys. Oh my god. Once the race is added to the game, you can play it. But I feel like there were races I was not able to pick when I made my character. Because, I don't think I was able to play as, like, the rabbits. Hey Gabe, morning. Baywatch. 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 I don't own Shadowbringers. So if I had bought Shadowbringers, I could have made a bunny out of the gate. Click, click, they click. How long has it been since hunters last came to trade, bearing gifts that filled the air with delightful scents? Land trap nectar. Elm tree fruit. And Nanka flesh. Dawn Trail will add female Hrothgar. Who are the Hrothgar again? I don't remember. Are those like the big green, not Ganondorf types? The muscle lions, okay. The species names I'm generally still not great on. What delectable foods you've brought us. Our meager existence is much enriched by your bounty. Come, hunters, come to our hive if you would trade. Cramped and stifling our homes are, but the rancid incense keeps dragons at bay. The rancid incense. Cramped! Stifling! And horribly smelly. I imagine they're talking like the aliens from, what's that movie called? Galaxy Quest. The Rotogon. Better to live in stench than be cracked and crushed by dragon jaws. Yes, come, it is not far. You'd think if they've been doing this for 1,000 years, they would have adapted to the stench and they would actually like it and be like, no, we love our smells, we love our scents. They keep us alive. Okay, to the stinky, cramped village. Self-described stinky, cramped village. Presence has been announced to the storyteller. You must speak with the chosen leader in words, for we are Vaf. We are the non-mind? I don't know what that means. Non-mind. Welcome to our hive, hunters. You've brought delicacies, much sought after by our people, and we are much pleased. What would you have in return? Are they a hive? They're not a hive mind, right? I don't think they're a hive mind, but they seem very collective. Honored Elder, pray allow me to begin by thanking you for welcoming us into your home and for accepting our humble offerings. My companions and I are come in search of knowledge, and knowledge specifically, knowledge of your people of God. Knowledge alone, what strange hunters you are. But if it is words you desire, then words you shall have. We are the Vath, the Nalan mind, and to speak is our fate. You will hear the tale of Naf's god, of the god of one mind summoned into our midst. The one mind, are these the Naf who reside in the main colony? They are one, connected. Okay, so the main colony is a hive mind, but these guys are not. Some moons ago, a single dragon flew in from the east, bleeding and weak. It fell from the sky and into the hive, where it was swarmed by my brethren. And with spear and spell and musket, the dragon. With smear and smell and musk, the dragon was slain. It was likely one had fled battle with my kinsman. I should commend you for finishing the job. She shot him a very dirty look. Dragons are fierce and terrible adversaries. The one mind would always cower when their winged shadows passed over the ground. But no longer. They learned that a battle-weary Javinian was easy prey. You're alternating between Discord and Twitch on mobile right now, so you're all over the place. Are you still having the Elon Musk conversation? Thus did the Overmind decide to heed the words of the black-robed men. The One Mind would call forth our god and unleash his blades upon the dragons. One Mind is the collective of Vath. The Overmind is like the leader of the collective. It's a Neuralink conversation. I feel like Neuralink is the most comically indefensible of all the Musk projects, right? Like, you can make arguments, you know, for Tesla and SpaceX and even the Boring Company. Neuralink just seems like kind of indefensibly comically evil, though. Maybe we'll become hive minds like the crab people. I'm waiting for the third impact. Once we get instrumentality, we'll be like the crabs. We'll return to crab. Dravinian lands would become Naf lands, and even larger would grow our domain. But our god ever hungers. The price he demands in crystals far exceeds the rewards for this war. We of the Vath despise and revile his insatiable existence. Casting, healing, aiming, slaying. Let's do slaying. I call upon the power of a primal for the greater good, conscious all the while that I do so at grave cost to the land. The reason is that I reason that it is a necessary evil and would willingly shoulder the burden of my sin. This person is disabled, so she wants something like Neuralink because she has limited mobility and wants to be able to walk and explore and stuff. That's fair. That's fair. I don't think we're gonna get it from Neuralink. That's a difficult conversation because you don't want to dash someone's hopes. But the guy just doesn't deliver. Elon, you know, I feel like there's a debate about how effective he was as like an entrepreneur and like a venture capitalist and the impact he had like 10 years ago. But yeah, like Ethan, once he started being like a meme lord on Twitter, I think it like destroyed whatever was left of his mind. I think it like totally just destroyed him and like brought out the worst of his personality, entrenched him in like some very stupid positions. Basically ever since he turned himself into a celebrity and like tried to become a household name. In suggesting that such crimes can be justified, you may argue that I presume too much, but you must surely see that I am aware of the magnitude of my transgressions. Not so the Naf, they summon their deity for no greater purpose than to expand their dominion. Yeah, I hated what Twitter did to me. And how I, like, it changed how I viewed the world in a very negative light. I had to leave it. And, you know, ironically, not ironically, but, you know, tangentially, it did get way worse, in my opinion, after the acquisition, and it made it way easier for me to leave. It felt miserable at some point. It was always miserable, but it was getting worse. I think it was gonna be on a downward trajectory regardless, but I think maybe the acquisition sped things up. And suggesting that such crimes can— it wasn't a sustainable business model. They were losing money already, and I think it just accelerated. In suggesting that such crimes can be justified, you may argue that I presume too much, but you must surely see that I am aware of the magnitude of my transgressions. Not so much the Naf, they summon their deity for no greater purpose than to expand their dominion. Yeah, it's still got a big user base, so it's like, it's okay for reaching an audience and advertising, but I think it seems less and less worth it as time goes on for that. Like, it's got kind of a negative spiral, because as more advertisers leave, that incentivizes more advertisers to leave, right? To a scion of the Seventh Dawn, one sworn to eliminate the primal threat, the distinction you draw seems questionable at best, but the fact remains that my own grandfather risked unleashing the power of the 12 in an attempt to prevent the calamity. Thus, while I may not condone your actions, I at least understand them. So, the Naf, as you rightly put it. If they truly seek naught but territorial gain, I can only conclude that they are ignorant of the ruinous consequences of their god's insatiable appetite. The longer this primal is suffered to exist, the greater the suffering it will cause. It must be destroyed. How lightly you propose the destruction of this god, Master Alpha now, a being of whom we know not. Has it occurred to you that you may be sending the Warrior of Light to his death? No, you've the right of it, Estinian. 'Twould seem that I am guilty of presuming too much. I've moved over to Blue Sky. It's not the same, it's not as good in a lot of ways, but it does scratch the itch, and it doesn't make me feel miserable. I think Discovery on Blue Sky is very bad, though. Pray forgive me, Ryugo. At least right now. I'm assuming it's gonna get better. It's changing pretty fast. I do not fear my duty. Wait, Ryugo needs not face us alone. Like him, I am blessed with the Echo, and its protection, and may do battle without fear of primal influence. Let me bear this burden. Do you truly imagine yourself a second Warrior of Light? Remind me, how many problems have you faced, my lady? Not that it matters, we know not where this god resides or how to challenge it, unless you mean to pray until it appears. Justinian makes a valid point. Let us speak with the Vav and learn of how to best secure an audience with their deity. In this, at least, I may be of assistance. I really like that, like, this god, the gods that they summon don't even have to be real beforehand. It's just their collective faith with the crystals can literally make anything happen. It's proven with, like, the Moogle god. Good King Moogle Mog the 12th or whatever. Like, they could summon literally anything they want. They just, like, always turn to their established deity in their, like, time of despair. The young lord— so that's typically the pattern. The young lord certainly appears eager to prove his worth. Like, they could do, like, a Bene Gesserit thing and, like, implant false beliefs into a culture to, like, create this very weird, bizarre god. They could make like a weird Scooby-Doo god or a flying spaghetti monster. And as long as enough of them believe it, and they have the crystals, they could just make it happen. We are Vath, we are the non-mind. We do not hear the one mind's thoughts. We cannot predict their will. Put this idea from your minds, generous hunters. If you meet with our god, then he will have your soul. Surely you're not so generous as that. You wish to meet our god? Offer yourself as a sacrifice, and you will soon be brought before him. We would mourn the loss of such generous hunters, however. Final Fantasy Psy— yeah, kinda. whatever established powers could just manufacture a religion and then coerce the followers into summoning whatever god they manufactured for whatever purpose they want. I mean, that's kind of what the Aesians are doing. They're mostly taking advantage of existing gods and beliefs, but they could just manufacture them given time. I think that's what they did with the Mughals, kind of. You were generous hunters, yes? Many gifts you brought, but not enough for all Vav to enjoy. Could you maybe bring us just one more? We're very fond of Nanka flesh. The young meat of a young Nanka would make a fine... Okay, I'll go kill one more Nanka for you. Sure. Wait till you learn the real Aesian plot. You have to get all the Chaos Emeralds. Only 2 more expansions. They're gonna use a lot of crystals to like manifest something. But maybe it's something they want instead this time. Hold on. Well, I don't really know what they've been doing. Like, they've been shown operating in the background, but I have no clear idea what their goals are. Like, I know they're an ancient people. I know they live forever by basically using corporeal vessels as hosts, and then just moving their soul into a new one. They exist in purgatory when they're not in the host, and through that they have immortality. I know that they've been egging on the primal threats, seemingly in service of the Garleans, but I think that was just a means to an end. But I don't know what that end is. Like, it just, right now it just seems like they're sowing chaos, and I don't know why. But they have also revealed that, like, the Aesians aren't totally aligned with each other. There's disagreement, like, among their ranks. They're not, like, a collective. Well, you'll learn why in Shadowbringers. Okay. Shadowbringers is, like, the Aesian plotline, right? Or it's, like, heavily involved, at least. It's all the Aesian plotline. I mean, I imagine everything's tied together, but I just mean, like, it'll be a bit more direct. Like, that's when things clear up. Like, the Empire stuff, and the Dragon stuff, and the Aesian stuff, it's all connected to some degree, but they're still kind of different threads, even if they're related, it seems like, at least the way they're presented narratively. We've off to enjoy our Nanka flesh. Have you been out hunting? Yep, here's one more. For you little greedy crab. Another gift for the Vav, so unexpected. Yes, you will have more of the words you strange hunters hunger for. Now listen, the senses of the one mind are enmeshed by the overmind. What one sees, all see. What one feels, all feel. The Board Queen, it's the Board Queen. It's not just chaos. When you say it's not just chaos, do you mean it's not chaos, the Final Fantasy character / deity, or it's not chaos as in the concept of chaos? Chaos is kind of an overloaded term when it comes to Final Fantasy. The senses of the one mind are enmeshed by the overmind. What one sees they all see, what they feel they all feel. Alert a single Naf and the whole hive is alerted. Reach your god undetected is all but impossible. There is no chaos god in this game. Okay. Is it... I was about to ask if there was a Garland, but then I remember it's called the Garlean Empire. Garland and Chaos are very tied together in Final Fantasy 1. So, like, a reference to Garland is kind of a reference to Chaos, kind of. The Voth are... Sometimes the camera gets a little weird when you try to turn it behind. I guess it's like, you know, you're gonna see Alphina's face. The Voth are wont to allude to certain concepts without explanation, but I believe I'm beginning to grasp a few of the fundamentals. It's not that old. Hold on. Let me look something up real quick. In 10 years, in only 10 years, Final Fantasy XIV will be as old as Final Fantasy I was when 14 came out initially. So like, in only a decade, Final Fantasy XIV is going to be as old as Final Fantasy I was when this game came out. The king-like Overmind sits at the center of the Noth Society, and its presence somehow allows its subjects to communicate without need of word or gesture. These Noth, the ones who inhabit the larger hive, are known as One Mind, and it was their combined will that the Primal was summoned. Those who reside in the smaller hive, however, are the Voth, or the Non-Mind, who, for reasons that yet escape me, seem to have been excluded from the telepathic bond which connects their Noth counterparts. They are the Voth ignorant of the One Mind's thoughts and intentions, and of the nature of their own god. In summary, we have wasted our time. He's such a downer. Not so, perilous though it may be, the Voth did furnish us with one certain method of approaching the Primal. Sacrifices. Should we allow ourselves to be captured in the environs of the colony, the Noth will bring us their deity to make an offering of our souls. Breaking into hives? I want to break into hives. Forgive me, but let us be clear about what it is that you propose. You mean to say that you would deliberately provoke the Noth, surrender yourself into what might generously be termed their custody, and then await until their god arrives to claim your soul? Aye, that fairly well describes my plan. Will you join me in this endeavor? You will join me in this endeavor, will you not, Ryuko? Judging by the great risks you took to prevent the summoning of Saint Shiva, you were not a man to err on the side of caution. Would that I could fight at your side, Warrior of Light, but the powers of the dragon, no protection against primal influence. Forgive me, but I must remain here with Master Alphino. I mean, it's hard for me to compare. I've played 1, I've played 6, and I played 7. And it's just really hard to compare an MMO to like a single-player RPG. I mean, so far I still like 6 and 7 more, but this is the best MMO I've ever played. Right? I would definitely say it's better than Final Fantasy I, though. The power of the dragon is no protection against primal influence. It is settled. You and I shall challenge the guards at the entrance to the colony. Once the hive is aroused, we shall feign a brief show of resistance and then allow them to take us prisoner. I do like... It's almost frustrating that, like, they made the MMOs mainline numbered games because it's really hard to think about them the same way. But I really have to think of Final Fantasy XIV as, like, 6 different games. Like, mentally, in order to, like, comprehend it and try and, like, think about how I feel about the game, I have to break it into the base game and the expansions, I think. Otherwise, it's gonna be too much. Especially since they, like, it seems to dramatically change with each expansion, at least if Heavensward is any indication. So far, Heavensward has the potential to be my favorite Final Fantasy. But base game was like a solid, like, 5 or 6 out of 10 in my opinion. I mean, supposedly the thing that makes you drop 14 is the beginning of the game, according to everyone. But, you know, that's the first, like, 100 hours, so... Depends on how you feel about your own time and how much of it you have. I think I can only do this because I'm unemployed right now. If I wasn't, I couldn't be doing this. But I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, and it's getting better. I'm enjoying it more and more. I almost didn't make it through the slog. Like, I really almost fell off there. I only did it because I'm really stubborn. Because if I beat this game, then Zach has to quit smoking. I think it was very weird that 11 and 14 are like they're MMOs, but they gave them a mainline number. I really think it should have just been a spin-off. And that's not to say that like MMOs are lesser, but it just feels like such a totally separate thing. It feels like if they made like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was more in line with the main games, and it didn't get a number. You would simply never make it through a Realm Reborn. I agree, but I don't mean that derogatively. The dinner quest line, I don't even remember that. What was the dinner quest line? I don't remember that at all. Was it like go fetch eggs or something? Wonder what's for dinner. Good morning, Jonah. For my family questline. Or the like 12th time that they tell you to ask everyone around town about something, and then you talk to 12 NPCs scattered about, and they all tell you to fuck off. And then you go back to the guy, and he's like, "Well, I guess that was a waste of time," and he like says that to your face, and this happens over and over again. The one that really pissed me off was near the end of the base game before the slog. You had to get like aetherite attuned crystals to like coat the bottom of the high wind whip or something so that you could get through the storm to Garuda. And like they make you go through like 10 quests and they're like, oops, we got the wrong element. Teehee. Let's do all that again but with a different element now. Like that I wanted to quit right there. That was offensive. Your lives are forfeit. Like its revenue will dwarf the sales of the single-player titles and messes with development. The pre-Titan fetch quest where you get a bunch of ingredients for dinner to prove that you can fight a Titan. Right. Oh, right. The guy in Limsa Laments, if it's just like, oh, you want to fight a god? Get me orange juice. Yeah, Zach is up. Yeah. He is continuing to pack, I believe. The Overmind must try by now to be aware of our intrusion. Let us press on into the hive and ensure that we have our host's undivided attention. I think they attached the number to the MMOs because there's kind of a prestige that comes with being a numbered entry, and I think it was a business decision. I think it's like people are going to be more inclined to play a numbered Final Fantasy than a spin-off. And if we're investing this much into it, then it needs to be a numbered entry. they cut it into a quarter when they touched up a Realm Reborn like a year ago. The dinner quest? The dinner quest was like 3 times longer before? That's insane. It was already way too long. Yeah, I mean, now that they've done it, they might as well just keep doing it. But it just seems like a bizarre decision to me. And so it wasn't because of 11 being an MMO, but I think it was right around the time that 11 came out where I feel like being a numbered Final Fantasy like lost a lot of meaning. And it's not because of 11, but like after 10, it really felt like they were struggling to like figure out what the series was going to be going forward, and they kept trying a bunch of different things. Like, Final Fantasy 1 through 10, there's a very, like, clear line that's drawn. But starting with 11, and then you go into 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, they all kind of seem like totally different types of games. And there's a bunch of games that are, like, not numbered entries, but are spin-offs, but they're just as, like, Final Fantasy as the numbered entries, so it's very strange to me. And, like, again, that's not, like, I'm not trying to say that's reflective of the quality of any of these. The series has very strange conventions at this point. Yeah. Like, basically, it could be, like, Final Fantasy could be anything at this point, as long as it has crystals and Moogles and Cactars, and you know, it's got all those things. It's got a good soundtrack. Yeah, chocobos. There's like a small checklist of things that if your game includes it, it's a Final Fantasy game. Like, and I guess it does have to be a fantasy game, to some extent. It can be sci-fi, but that's still a form of fantasy, really. It's not a series like Sonic, where it's like, oh, I know what to expect out of a Sonic game, and the main delineation is it going to be 2D or 3D? It's like, they announced a new Final Fantasy, and it's like, okay, well, what is it? Like, why is Stranger of Paradise not a numbered entry? Especially considering it's literally like a prequel to a numbered entry. And then they have like Final Fantasy Type 0, which like is pseudo a numbered entry because they consider it the 0th game even though it's totally unrelated. Stranger of Paradise is kind of a Souls type game, but it's a prequel to Final Fantasy 1. Came out like 3 or 4 years ago. I'm actually surprised you even heard of it. It was like a big meme when it came out. Like, I'm gonna kill chaos. You're gonna, get... Yeah, okay, have fun. Have a good breakfast. I'm probably gonna take a BRB here in a second anyway. They're not aggressing me that much. Even though, like, they should all be aggressing me since they're a hive mind, right? They should all know I'm there. Yeah, have a good one. Oh, I'm dying. I didn't realize I was dying. Blah! They were level 53, how are they doing that much damage? I guess it's the power of the hive mind. Naming scheme is as pretentious and convoluted as the stories. I think they should just stop doing numbered entries, personally. Either stop doing numbered entries, or make every Final Fantasy game, besides like obvious spin-offs like the rhythm game, if it has a story, and it's an RPG or an action game, then make it a numbered entry like all of them. If it's totally like arbitrary which ones are numbered entries and which ones aren't, it's very annoying. Oh right, I had to go all the way around. It's gonna make it easier to be at this crystal, isn't it? I was smoking aloud. Like, honestly, before this game, the Final Fantasy I played the most was probably Theatrhythm Final Fantasy. It's a really good rhythm game. I died to crab, yeah. I think a lot of it's reflective of just like Square Enix as a company too. It's always been a company that's they have a lot of talented developers and producers who make good games, but I think they have some insanely out of touch and misguided executives and management. Like, it's not a modern thing. They've always like invested ridiculous amounts of money in stupid things that have blown up in their face, and like some attempt to be cutting edge, or like I'd maybe grow from being more than just a game developer. And it wasn't even just something that happened because of the merger with Enix. Like, I should fight these guys one by one because they're gonna start aggressing me like crazy and kill me like last time. Like, remember the Spirits Within? And that was just Square before Enix, I think. That ruined Sakaguchi's career. Took the fall for that. Well, it didn't ruin his career. He made like a lot of other things after that, but you know, it ruined his career at Square Enix. He went on to make The Last Story and The Lost Odyssey, which are kind of both synonymous with Final Fantasy. Like, both of those games could have been numbered Final Fantasy games. If they threw a Moogle in there. Threw a Chocobo in there. Surprised by how not aggressive they are to me right now. Except for this guy. Aether current. What if you didn't kill me, though? That would suck. Just wake up the one guy. That should be sufficient. If we did not have our host's full attention before, we surely have it now. Our audience with the Primal may be granted soon after our capture. Pray advise me once you've steeled your mind for the battle to come. Okay, sounds like we're about to do Primal fight or something. Seems like a good time to take a BRB, because I need to use the bathroom. Be right back.